My tomatoes are moving.
6-year-old Benny Alden stood in the garden. He squinted one eye and looked down a row of tomato plants. Yesterday, the row was nice and neat. Today, the rows looked zigzagged. Benny's brother and 2 sisters gardened nearby. The Alden children were helping grow vegetables behind the Applewood Cafe, one of their very favorite restaurants.
Plants don't just get up and walk around, said his sister Jessie. These did, said Benny.
14-year-old Henry walked over and stood behind Benny. The 2 brothers peered down the row of tomatoes.
They do look cockeyed, said Henry. Have you measured them?
Not yet,
said Benny. He opened the measuring workbook Henry had made to teach him how to measure things. Benny learned how to use a scale to measure how much things weighed. Here in the garden, he used a ruler to measure how far apart he planted the plants.
I planted the tomatoes 2 rulers, or 24 inches apart, he said. But look!
He moved the ruler this way and that between the plants. They measured 10 inches apart, or 36 inches, all sorts of odd numbers. Jessie pulled weeds nearby. The 12-year-old still did not believe plants could move around all by themselves.
Maybe animals dug around your plants, she said. It might have been raccoons, or dogs, or rabbits. Jessie's probably right,
huffed 10-year-old Violet. She tugged and lugged a small wagon through the soft garden soil. The wagon was piled high with stacks of old newspapers.
Remember? Last week your turnips were all jumbled up, she said. That's why we made Spooky.
Spooky the Scarecrow smiled down at them. He wore the faded shirt and an old pair of pants Grandfather had donated to the garden. The children had stuffed the clothing with straw. They made Spooky's head out of a muddy green bag they'd found in an alley behind the cafe. Benny used Violet's markers to draw a smiley face. Jessie stuffed the bag with straw, and Violet sewed the head to Spooky's body. When the Scarecrow was ready, Henry nailed Spooky to a large post in the middle of the garden. Spooky was supposed to keep critters from eating the food in their garden. Benny looked at Spooky, then looked at his messy tomato plants.
You're not scaring anything, he said. I should have given you a scarier face.
Jessie and Violet lifted the newspapers off the wagon. They spread them on the ground around the plants. The newspapers would keep weeds from growing. After a little while, Violet noticed that her sister had stopped working.
Are you all right?
She asked. Jessie perched on her hands and knees, peering down at a page of the Greenfield Gazette.
Listen to this, she said. Baffling bank robbery. It's been 2 months since a thief disguised as an armored car driver robbed the Greenfield Bank. The robber looked like...
Applewood Cafe's back door banged open. Time for lunch, called Laura Shea, the cafe's owner. She balanced a chubby baby on each hip. She smiled at the young gardeners. Anybody hungry? The Aldens didn't need to be called twice. They quickly ran inside to wash up. There were many things the children loved about the small cafe. Henry, who was very good at building things, liked the old saws, hammers, and other tools hanging everywhere around the room. Benny liked the cafe's then and now photos. In one old then photo, Greenfield farmers drove horses and carts along Main Street to carry their vegetables to market. The now photo showed the same street filled with cars and shops. Benny especially liked the photos showing the cafe the day the Shays bought it. Laura and David Shea stood smiling in front of a rickety old house. They smiled even though the porch was falling off and the roof was falling in. Prickly weeds grew all around, and the windows were boarded up with big sheets of metal. A faded red, white, and blue sign that read, "For Sale by Sally," stood in front. Violet, who liked things clean and tidy, liked the now photo better. The Shays had painted the old house powder blue. They'd put on a new roof and porch. Large windows replaced the sheets of metal. The weedy backyard became a beautiful garden. The ugly old house changed into a bright, cozy restaurant.